Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. What's going on, y'all? Good morning. Good morning. Oh boy. Um, so today we are not going to be fire and brimstone. We are going to be a little bit more nuanced because this video looks like a really bad attempt at nuance, but okay, fine. We will play ball. Excuse me if I take a couple of jabs, which is probably gonna happen, let's be honest. Um, but okay, fine. Um, let's call a thing a thing. Okay, look, to Chrissy, if she ever comes up on this video, Chrissy, you were part of the extreme. I know in Black Woman Landia, you don't see yourself as extreme, and maybe among the swirlers and divestors, you would be less extreme, but Chrissy, you were extreme. I'm saying this because you tried to pull this a couple weeks ago. Chrissy, you were extreme. Maybe you're attempting to be a little bit more nuanced now, but you were extreme. To be honest, you still kind of are extreme. I see you didn't mention anything about swirling and divesting on this video. And for those of you who did not check out the link in the description, um, Chrissy is speaking about femininity and the femininity coaches and the movement of femininity. By the way, rules still apply. Mr. Z is kind of living life reckless right now. So if I come to abrupt end, y'all understand why. Don't put it in the comments. Do not put it in the comments. But yeah, and we're back. Right. So yeah, so Chrissy, is speaking about femininity coaches and the femininity movement, and she speaks about how she helped to create that, particularly for Black women. And in the first few minutes of her talk, let's say the first 5 or 6 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, I actually agree with her. I would like to add into what she was saying by the I don't dream of labor, which was a thing a few years ago. And how people are burnt out, and this boss girl feminism, and and she's saying people kind of went extreme, I hate men route, etc., etc. Chrissy, you didn't do the I hate men route, but you kind of did the I hate Black men route, which is what Black women would engage in, right? So Charles said only got 5 minutes through. So for the first 5 minutes, it didn't sound like the worst thing in the world, huh? It wasn't the worst thing in the world for the first 5 or so minutes. You could be like, oh, all right, okay, Chrissy, I see you. Okay, yeah, the women are kind of burnt out, and COVID kind of reset y'all, huh? COVID put a two-piece on y'all, huh? Right? Yeah, right. Okay, I get you. And we're not gonna go back to, women not being able to vote, and women, she didn't say the barefoot and pregnant thing, but I get where she's going. Okay, all right, Chrissy, I hear you. Yeah, Trail, the first 5 minutes wasn't the worst thing in the world. You need to listen to the rest. I'm not saying she went full on back to old Chrissy mode. I think she still is old Chrissy. But for the first 5 or so minutes, it's not the worst thing in the world, right? It's not the worst thing in the world. There's some nuance there. There's some, the boss girl and it's funny because the boss girl feminism, and Chrissy, she's mentioning how the feminists kind of come at these kind of femininity coaches, and there's always going to be this kind of femininity soft life thing going on online, because to be frank with you, like, this is what women want, especially Black women, because they're not trying to work themselves to the bone and work themselves to death and be these good little cogs for the system. And Chrissy she calls herself a realist, and she's like, capitalism's not going anywhere. And would we like a more just system? Yeah, but I'm about working with where the system is. Okay, all right. Yeah, you've said that before. And so has Paris Milan. Like, you've said that before, Chrissy. Okay, understandable. Understandable. Capitalism's not going anywhere. But you are a good cog in the system, though, Chrissy. Though, I mean, like, the whole white man chase. I see you didn't mention that. You're not gonna mention how you kept on saying, "Well, just date out," huh? You ain't gonna mention. See, you didn't mention Princella and how when you critiqued Princella and her movement, right? The munching on vagina movement and how you said, yeah, y'all do anything but date out. Y'all don't do anything but date out. You see, you didn't mention that part, huh? Yeah, Chrissy, you weren't part of the hate men movement. You weren't. You were in the hate black men movement. Uh-oh. I acknowledge your attempt at nuance here. Train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. I acknowledge it. I see it. Okay, I see a different tone. Okay, cool. Um, but let's call a thing. Chrissy, if it wasn't for the Black Manosphere, you would have never got here, bro. You would have never got here, Chrissy. Chrissy, you know, Mr. Z occasionally goes back and I listen to how I sounded or some of my recordings from a year plus ago. I go back and listen to myself. I go back, Chrissy. I go back to listen to what Mr. Z sounded a year ago, a year and a half ago, what I was saying, whether, you know, I'm like, ugh, see, yeah, I should change that. And you know what? We're not going to say that anymore. Or the data has changed on this, or this no longer applies. Or you know what? I might want to reel that back. And I occasionally come back and apologize. I apologize for getting information wrong, for saying someone's name wrong. My live chat checks me on a regular, hey, you pronounce this wrong. I stumble across words, etc., etc. I put myself in the position to have to apologize. You, Chrissy, on the other hand, think you could sprinkle sugar on Ish and think that nobody forgot what you said a year ago. Not even a year ago, Chrissy. 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 9 months ago. Let alone what you said a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Chrissy, this is Mr. Z saying, yes, you were, and to be frank with you, you kind of still are extreme. You don't think of yourself as extreme because you're comparing yourself to Princella. You're comparing yourself to Lexus Exodus. You're comparing yourself to Cynthia G. That's why you don't think you sound extreme. You sound extreme. Not on this particular video. Actually, you sounded a bit nuanced, especially in the first 5 or so minutes, 7 or so minutes. Yeah, it's understandable. Chrissy, we're black. I completely understand what you're saying about the labor. I completely understand. Yes, I understand. I'm a black man, Chrissy. I get it. Right? I'm a black man on the left. I definitely understand the critique of the system. Almost definitely. But what you don't get to do is act like you weren't enthusiastically participating. You weren't reluctantly, quote unquote, critiquing black men. No, Chrissy, no, call a thing a thing. You were passionately, enthusiastically going at black men over the past 8 or so years. Oh no, Chrissy, you don't get to play. You don't get to play like you know. Oh, you know, we're reluctantly participating. No, Chrissy, you're enthusiastically participating. You're the one who speaks about corrective promotion, and you were speaking about corrective promotion in a vacuum. Chrissy, it wasn't even 3 months ago. What, that was 2 months ago? Barely 2 months ago when you're speaking about, you know, and I keep on bringing it up because it just is a perfect example and perfectly emblematic of what Mr. Z was saying when you were looking at the white woman and her daughter in that dollhouse. For a couple minutes, Chrissy, you lost it. You lost it. And that perfectly encapsulate what the hell your channel has been. It's been a white woman chase. It's been a chase for upper middle class white womanhood. A very clear chase for upper middle class white womanhood. Right? Chris, you got to call a thing a thing. And now you think that you can come back on and be a little bit more nuanced and, you know, okay, yes, okay. But you think you can sprinkle sugar. Chris, excuse me. Chrissy, do you understand how much damage you probably have done over the past couple years? Chrissy, me and you are not too we're not too distant in age. How did I see it and you didn't? And you're college educated and I'm not. How did I understand? You know what? I got to be a little careful with my language. I don't want these young men to come out here looking at every black woman like the enemy. I don't want them to be naive on dating out, right? I don't want to you just date out, huh? You want to know why? Because I don't pathologize black women as a whole, huh? I don't even pathologize most black women. Oh yeah, Mr. Z said it. And that is the major difference. See, Mr. Z doesn't want to be a white man. My goal is not to be a white man with all the ill-gotten gains. And Chrissy, you cannot say the same. Period. That's it. That's the beginning. That's the end. Mr. Z's goal isn't to be a white man, a chocolate dip white man. My goal is not to completely flip the structure upside down and now black men get to sit on top of the rape and pillage and disaster and destruction of my ancestors and continue to perpetuate the system acting like I'm not. But Chrissy, that is your and many of your cohort and your ilk, that is their goal as black women. The black women that follow you, that are subscribed to you, it kind of is. That's the fundamental difference. That's why I knew better than to speak a certain way and advocate a certain way, and you didn't. It's not just because you started so much before me. No. Because I knew better and you did not. I understood the weight of my words, and you did too, and you didn't care. You understood the weight of your words, Chrissy. You didn't care. I'm going to use a Paris Malone line again. I use it all the time. You hated or you hate black men more than you love black women. So you were perfectly okay with sending other black girls and women to get their head knocked off by white men and non-black men. I understand the nuance that you're attempting to come at this with now. I get it. But you're just sprinkling sugar on ish because you refuse to acknowledge how insane you sounded before. You think just because you put out these damage control disclaimer videos every once in a blue moon that made you much different than Mahogany Pink. It didn't. It doesn't. You're right about the system, but you weren't critiquing the system like that. It's very okay. Look, a couple of people are going to start moonwalking now, rebranding, acting like they not. Their ego won't let them admit that that's what they're doing. We're going to watch it. We're going to watch people come off their black men ain't ish, burn them at the stake. They're the worst thing that ever happened on planet Earth. We're going to watch people come off that stupor. We're going to watch people come off that stupor and act like they didn't never say nothing like that. They never said it. They never implied it. They never said it. Nope. Nope. They never suggested it or implied. Nope. And their ego is gonna be right. No, you don't get to moonwalk now. You don't get to moonwalk now, Chrissy. I'm not saying that people cannot evolve. I'm not saying people can't change their mind. I'm not saying people can't run into a wall and be like, oh, okay, so that's what it is. What I'm saying is you don't get to pretend like you didn't run into the wall and that's what made you change your mind. That's what I'm saying. You don't get to pivot and act like you're not pivoting. Right? If you're going to come at this at a more nuanced angle, Chrissy, you got to acknowledge it and you got to acknowledge why. Oh, yeah, Mr. Z saying it. It's either age that's causing you to mature, or guilt, right? Or some newfound wisdom, something someone said, something someone suggested, whether it's online or in real life, that made you, you know what? Ooh, okay, yeah, 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 that makes sense, right? Whether you realize that this thing is way bigger than just quote unquote corrective promotion for black women, or you accurately now, or more accurately now, assess what it would take for corrective promotion for black women, you realize you can't do that in a vacuum. Shout out to all of you that think you could have keep the white racist system, keep defecating on black men, right? Shout out to all of you who think that you could have kept that going, right? And then do the corrective promotion for black women in a vacuum. By the hands of who? White elite media? Yeah, that's it. Chrissy brings up, especially in the era of Sexy Red and Sukiyana, this is definitely a time to, promote this black woman femininity movement, and, a more demure, and I'm putting a little bit of words on it, kinder, softer, image for black women. I would agree with that. Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. Right? A counterbalance to the ratchet, loud, you know, obnoxious black woman. I agree. But that's not the only danger coming from black women about black women. Chrissy, your pseudo white image of black femininity, where you just take white femininity and paint it chocolate, now you speaking about Afrocentric black femininity. Oh, and I'm not saying that Chrissy never alluded. She kind of mentioned that in the past. She has. But much of it was just taking white femininity and painting black. And yes, white current soft life white women is built off of white patriarchy and white men raping and conquering planet Earth. And guess what? For about what? A good 5, 10, maybe 15% of white women? Huh? 15 or so percent of white women? Maybe 20, 25% of them don't have to work their entire adult lives? Huh? You know, and this kind of speaks to something FD was alluding to last time he was on my channel. So I don't know if y'all noticed what they're trying to do with the hodgepodge. Let's keep this part of patriarchy, but let's include this part of feminism. Chrissy's kind of engaging in that too. Now everybody's coming off of a stupor of boss girl feminism, get the bag, soft girl era, F these men, and money over everything. These men are nothing but walking wallets and overglorified guard dogs. Everybody's starting to see, especially for younger Xers, millennials, maybe even some of the oldest of Gen Z, they starting to see the limitations of that. So everybody's like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. We might have went too far with this. There's not enough uber wealthy white men to go around. There's not about enough super, Diddy's. Well, y'all see how Diddy's faring right now, and Jay-Z's to go around. There's not enough. Wait a minute. We might have to reevaluate. Okay, let's pick out the parts of patriarchy and male providership that we like, and all the parts of feminism and I don't need no man parts that we like, and let's leave the parts of the male leadership, black male leadership, black male last word, final word. Can we leave that part, right? Can we leave that part? Probably not, ladies. Nope. Have fun, right? right? Have fun. And that's where we are right now, right? And y'all give me a second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. But yeah, so I think, and going back to this, right? Because I'm glad about Miss Jasmine Theodora and tying that to Chrissy. Chrissy, that's what it's been. Mr. Z, pat myself on the back, was a little bit ahead of the game. Shout out to Edward Anderson. But we understood it wasn't about stability, it was about opulence, right? And you're right about, people not wanting and women in particularly not wanting to work themselves to the bone. I get that. And I think most black men understand that. I question how many black men are okay with watching black women work themselves to death. That's how black women were framing it because you were comparing black men to elite white men. Once again, I didn't even say white men, I said elite white men. Chrissy, you're attempting to move and pivot without acknowledging how wrong and loud you were. Chrissy, you were loud. You were loud, Chrissy. See, you're okay with acknowledging how many women have bitten from you and how many women have gotten their stuff from you and try to revamp it and or get be even more extreme. And yeah, you acknowledge that, but you can't acknowledge the part where how loud you were and how wrong you were on many things. I watched Sarge Willie Pete concede certain points to you and other women of your ilk over and over and over again. I watch even other black men in the black manosphere concede certain points to you and your ilk over and over again. And I watch you and other black women get even more extreme. I watch you and Paris find a one-off brother that said something crazy on Twitter, said something crazy on Instagram, said something crazy on TikTok or YouTube, and then use that to go absolutely maniacal on black men because you wanted to do it anyway, right? I watch as these brothers concede certain points to y'all, and y'all found any reason to go absolutely insane on black men, right? Because you wanted to. You wanted to show black men your ass because black men did not make you white men. Excuse me. Freudian slip there. Black men didn't make you black women. God damn, Mr. Z, get it out. Black men didn't make you white women. There we go. Jesus Christ. Right? Now, the black men didn't not making you white men. Yeah, I said it. I'm going to stand by that. I'm going to stand by that one. Yep, I said it. Right? Because black men didn't make you white women. And that's really what it was. And that's still what it is. All Miss Theodora did was confirm it because she wasn't raised by the black community. So she didn't know that she was supposed to frame it the way you frame it. That's all. right? The way you frame it, the way Yanni frames it, and Paris frames it, and Lexus Exodus, and Mahogany Pink, and Cynthia G, because Miss Jasmine Theodora wasn't raised by the black community, white father, African mother, grew up around white folks. She didn't know you were supposed to frame it the way these women online are framing it. She missed the memo. She didn't get the memo. And she told the truth. She 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 told the truth and then deleted the video. And now we're watching Chrissy try to pivot and moonwalk. Chrissy, a course correction, you're a human being, Chrissy. I'm not about telling you you can't course correct. A course correction, there's nothing wrong with that. You got to acknowledge the course correction, though, and why you're making it. We're flawed, Chrissy. We are flawed. But you got to be honest. You're making a course correction. Give me a second, yo. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah. You have to be honest that you're making a course correction and why you're making the course correction. Right? And what you might have got wrong. Right? And what you were viewing before that might have caused you to get that wrong. You have to acknowledge your emotional state. Look, I was angry because of such and such. Because all this little micro corrections you try to do without being honest about the environment, right? No. And it's not even for about black boys at this moment, for black girls and women. The ones that you claim to advocate for, the dark skinned ones that you claim to advocate for, most of them are even the ones that are subscribed to you right now, Chrissy. Most of them are going to still end up with black men. Most of them are going to still have dark skinned black daughters. And they too are going to think that you could sprinkle sugar on ish and not apologize, not say, you know what, my bad, or you know what, oh, correction. They're going to think that they could come out here in the real world and do that to not just black men, to people in general, but to black men specifically. And it's a new day. No, you can't. No, you can't. I led this video with saying how Mr. Z has messed up, have stumbled across words, have got information wrong, out of context, the information changed from 7, 8 years ago, and have come back and be like, oh yeah, right? I used the information changed. It used to be the median household income was less than 70, now it's 74. When it changed, I changed. I told people, right? I put up on my community tab all the as recent as information I could find about whatever subject it is, right? My subscribers in the comments correct me all the time. Chrissy, do you put yourself in that position? Right? I never told black men to just date out because I thought that that was the best thing. And well, this open competition, what's going to happen is that as black women realize that you're not checking for them, you're not checking for them no more, then they'll get they act right. Nope. To be honest with you, Chrissy, I knew that a lot of black women would sound like you right to the grave. I was the one that told BGS, I don't know, BGS, the way these women built, these newfangled, they'll be cursing you under the bridge. They will be under the bridge because they're not attached to a black man and still be cursing you. Mr. Z was willing to go to bat against BGS on that. Huh? BGS was like, "No, starvation to get their mind right." Mr. Z was like, "I don't know." These younger Xers, these millennials, I don't know, BGS. Because I understand how women like you, Chrissy, speak, think, and feel. Because I grew up with women like you, Chrissy. I'm not even saying BGS is 100% wrong. I'm saying if y'all lying, that poker face is immaculate, right? But Chrissy, you have to be honest that what you were selling to black women, especially over the past half a decade, 5 or so years, was to escape the struggle. The best thing they could do is end up under the white man's scrotum. You got to be honest that that what you was selling. That's what your channel really was on. All the black women in luxury and soft life. Yeah, you were doing that, but really the solution was get yourself under the best man for the job, and it's probably not going to be a black man. Did you go full on neo-Nazi divester, Chrissy? No, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, right? But now I'm splitting hairs, right? And once again, you would bring on these white guys like Zach and try to do your damage control and disclaimer videos. Nah, bro, nope, right? And y'all give me a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. And Chakra says, I just saw the video, 17K views in 19 hours. Yeah, no, Chrissy does numbers. Chrissy does numbers. She doesn't do FD numbers, right? But no, she got a nice subscriber base. They F with her, right? They follow her. They you know. And if Chrissy more and more understands the the weight of her words, right? The responsibility that she holds. And if she's going to make a pivot and be more nuanced, at least here, we don't know what she sound like on Patreon. I welcome the pivot, but some honesty, right? Some honesty would be great. Not for Mr. Z and his ego and pride, not even for the black manosphere or black men, but for your own subscribers, Chrissy. Your own subscribers. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, right? So many of you were selling, and somewhat still are selling, tucking yourself under the white man's scrotum for security and safety. And y'all got hit with all type of, let's be honest, anti-blackness from white women, from white men, from non-black women, right? You got hit with all type of classism as you tried to climb up those ranks, and those white men's sisters and mothers were like, what the hell you doing here? Right? 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 Y'all thought y'all could just sell that. Excuse me, y'all. My bad. Y'all think y'all could have just sell that in what? No, it's real now, right? And Chrissy brings up late stage capitalism, et cetera, et cetera. Chrissy, yes, all of that, and Mr. Z took all of that into account when I would speak. I always spoke about this macro. I use the examples from the internet and from real life to have a larger conversation about how this is going to look for black people. That's black men and black women. That's why I never sounded like I hated black women. There you go. That's why my answers, which I rarely gave answers for the individual, how arrogant would that be? But that's why my advice and my answers didn't sound like they were around hating black women. Would I jab? Would I make fun? Yes, absolutely. Would I poke fun at? Yes, absolutely. Would it sound like I hate black women? Absolutely not. Like I want to see the downfall of black women? Absolutely not. Why, Z? Because I understand that black women and black men are attached by the hip. Unlike what you were sounding like, Chrissy. Like there's an escape hatch for black women that black men can't go through. In America, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Right? How is this supposed to work? Chrissy, you're running into the wall that y'all done reached the market cap for the insanity, and now you're pivoting. Okay, fine. But you're making it seem like you're not pivoting. I appreciate the nuance, like I said. And I understand it's not for me. Perfect. Okay. But you can't sprinkle sugar on ish, Chrissy. Because what you're going to have are the young men that are passport bros and SYSBM and because Chrissy, there's no way you don't see them videos of them little girls crying in their parents' car, those women going out to the clubs and no black man tried to talk to them. You're not gonna tell them, okay, yeah, about that. See, we've been on the internet talking crap about these men for like a couple decades, and some of them done hurt us, and yeah. So it didn't start with him ignoring you or him just not being interested. It kind of started before that. And I might have had something to do with that. Yeah, you're not gonna say that. Not a never. See, what's not being said is that some of these little girls crying in their parents' cars go to diverse schools. They attend diverse high schools. They're at PWI universities. See, that's the part of the Business Insider article, Chrissy, that you kind of skipped over. That the black girls is trying to get with the white dudes and they getting played, smutted out, and passed back. Or, well, this is arguably better and worse, just straight up ignored. Huh? Just straight up ignored. Chrissy, it's called anti-blackness for a reason. I want to say it as clearly as humanly possible because this one, I am gonna say this unapologetic. I am not gonna be soft or use euphemisms for this. Y'all were hoping you and your subscribers understood that this country is anti-black. Y'all understood it's racist. Y'all understood the white hegemony. Y'all understood the white supremacy. Y'all were all hoping to lottery ticket win yourself into the White dude with some money and status who wasn't anti-black. The 1 and 2 and 3 of them that exist. That was the goal. That's what y'all kept on telling yourselves. And I understand, to the individual, statistics don't matter, and don't, all you need is one. And that's what y'all were selling. All you need is one. Don't listen to the black manosphere. Don't listen to these black men. They just try to scare you. Chrissy, you just said that a few months ago. They just try to scare you with all this anti-swirler propaganda. Chrissy, you sounded personally offended that the media came out and said this 28 things list sounds stupid. You looked, or at least sounded, personally offended that so many women, famous women, notable women, came out and said, I like the Cheesecake Factory. Right? Chrissy, that wasn't 5 years ago. That was like 2 months ago. Right? That was like 2 months ago. Was it even a full 2 months ago? So yeah, y'all got so damn, you got what you wanted. You wanted the eyeballs, you got them. Y'all got so loud that even certain white girls and women started peering in here, and they realized you were insulting their fathers. Oops. Uh-oh. They realized you were insulting their fathers and their brothers and their uncles and their nephews. When you started going at no 50-50, no struggle love, who want to do that anyway, who trying to be Chrissy, a lot of these girls and women was getting their stuff from you and then going on Kevin Samuels. And as I said before, whenever these white women are not gonna, they're not gonna be left holding the bag, Chrissy. Once white men started clamoring, once that Roe versus Wade got repealed, and y'all were still talking, I was like, oh, it's over. Hey, y'all remember, it wasn't just Mr. Z. The black manosphere was like, oh, it's over. It's done deal. White women are starting to pivot. Once I saw white women pivoting, like, oh, okay, yeah, white men are starting to get mad. This rhetoric in online and in person is too many white boys is going too long without sex and without relationships and once y'all let white women pivot before y'all, it was a wrap after that. White women were not going to be left holding the bag on the crazy men ain't ish rhetoric. Now, if I am going to give some advice, black women, y'all should have been made white women the face. It was going to be super hard, almost impossible. But y'all should have been trying to make white women the face of these men ain't ish. Once it looked like enough white women were starting to, you know what? Yeah, these men, we don't need that. Yeah, you're right. We got these jobs. Y'all should have been trying to make them the face and run the opposite direction. Nope, y'all wasn't thinking like that. Right? Y'all were too hard up on black men ain't ish. And now white women, they do what they always done. I don't know why y'all never. Oh my God, black women. White women do what they always do. Once the stress start getting real, they pivot and run the opposite direction, and they leave y'all holding the bag every single time. Right? It's not like we didn't notice that there were white women calling into Kevin Samuel's show talking crap. Right? We read those comments on Twitter too. Juicy played the clips from TikTok of white women talking crap about their white husbands and white boyfriends. Right? But once post-COVID came, people got to sit down and during COVID and really reevaluate their life. What are they doing this for? right? Inflation started putting its foot in people's rear end. Some of those nice, cushy jobs for women dried up for a little while. Women had to sit home and reflect on their lonely ass life and that hamster wheel they're on for who? For rich white men and white women and some Latinas. I don't know so much about the Asians. We're like, yeah, about this life, right? About this life. And then we watched as many black women just didn't pivot. They just didn't pivot. They didn't pivot fast enough, hard enough, and fast enough. Chrissy, I bring it up all the time. Y'all were in the middle of Armageddon with COVID. Y'all were in the middle of Armageddon with COVID-19. People are literally throwing haymakers and elbows at stores for toilet paper. Literally, right? Long ass lines for bottles of water and toilet paper. And women like you were still talking crap, Chrissy. That is extreme, Chrissy. That is extreme. That's extreme. Some of your minions were calling into the Kevin Samuels show, still talking about what they're not going to settle for. They don't know what tomorrow's going to look like in the middle of COVID-19. Thank you. Right? A split gym. Okay, I was trying to spell that out. Okay, a split gym. And a split gym says Tommy. It's Tommy Lauren. I know who you're saying. Tommy Lauren tried it and got checked. Right. The second she was like, me and my girlfriends, we're all. What she said, we're all fabulous, or we're all great, or we're all, something like that. And essentially, she was saying these white dudes are not on her level. She ain't saying white necessarily. But to sum it all up, Tommy Lauren was pretty much saying these white dudes are not on her level. And 2 days later, right? Huh? 2 days later. Meanwhile, Ebony K. Williams has a bunch of different jobs from a bunch of different dudes that employ her. One of them being oh God, how did his name literally just slip my mind? Byron Allen. There we go. Jesus Christ, get it out. Byron Allen. And yeah, she talk crap about black men every chance he get. Right? Every chance she gets. Now, of course, there's an age gap between Tommy Lauren and Ebony K. Williams. Obviously, different backgrounds and different upbringing. Duh. What the point I'm trying to make here is, one of them got checked and instantly went to backing up. Well, you know what? Let me moonwalk this. Let me moonwalk this. The other one, on the other hand, told you, I apologize to who? You mediocre loser ass black men? Apologize to who? Right? Your parents was okay when you coming home with C's and D's. Right? Huh. So, Chrissy, if this is what Nuance look like, woo. If this is what Nuance look like, I don't know. I don't know. Definitely, like I said, the first few minutes, okay, all right. The first few minutes, she speaks about the struggles and women ain't trying to come out here. Look, and she's right. Look, everybody's exhausted. Everyone's exhausted. If y'all want to know why Mr. Z is a leftist, that's why. Because Chrissy still ain't talking about the labor part. right? The goal was never to try to find an escape hatch, Chrissy. The goal was always supposed to be, hey, are you feeling this pain too? Yeah, I'm feeling this pain too. You too? Yeah, me too. Okay, what are we gonna do about it? Huh? Go ask him if he feel the pain. Or he said yes. Okay, what about her? Yes. Okay, what are we gonna do about it? This not making no sense to you either, right? Like these 2-3 job thing that more and more of us are trying to do or having to do to keep up, and not even to live extravagant, but to live basic. You don't really appreciate that either, do you? No, 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 no. I tried to hustle. She said it, the hustle culture thing. Yeah, you're right, Chrissy. Yeah, it's not just women, black women that's burnt out from that. You're absolutely right. But your solution, and many of your ilk solution, and many black women still today online solution, was to go tuck themselves under some super baller, preferably a white man. That was the solution y'all were given. Y'all didn't do the math. Y'all didn't factor in, oh yeah, this is a super anti-black society, right? You didn't factor in the anti-blackness from mom, from sisters, from him even if he want to smash. Nope. Like I said, occasionally you would do one of those disclaimer videos, not good enough. Now y'all coming off of the other side of the stupor, and what now? As I said, I understand I'm a black man. Your content is not for me. Cool. But you can't sprinkle sugar on ish, Chrissy. You gotta be honest, man. This system, boo, this system is a mug. And maybe I was wrong about the tuck yourself under white peen, because when you say, why don't y'all just date out? Just try something new, try something different. Admit what you're actually saying. Have you tried white men today? Admit what you're actually saying, Chrissy. Have you tried white men today? One thing about XX chromosome, boy, they will say a whole lot and not say nothing. Boy, they will say a whole lot and not say anything. That way, when you try to, get them to stick, is this what you're saying? No, that's not what I said. Well, is this what you're saying? No, that's not what I said. So what are you saying? Something about the XX chromosome, boy. So if this is what nuance looks like, whew, right? And Mr. Shook to you says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Mr. Shook to you says, men just want respect for hard work. Women will disrespect a man when he doesn't bend to her every need, and there's an option to get it on her own. You know what? That's it. That's it. But women are stressed out getting it on their own. I would say 80% of women are like, oh, this is a mug. Yeah, ladies, and you're not fighting it. There's a handful of 10 toes down leftist feminists that really mean it, but maybe 20%, maybe a quarter if you're super generous, that really mean it, right? All the rest of you talking that talk, but really hoping to meet the baller dude so you could talk the talk while you living off of him, right? Huh. That's why I kept on bringing the numbers up over and over again. Only 10 or so percent of men earn this type of 100,000 plus. Only 10% of men, give or take a percent, right? 2/3 of men never earn more than $65,000 a year in America. That's a whole lot of white men and Latino men and Asian men. Even if you're not going to date black men, fine. That's a whole lot of non-black men. 2/3 of men never earn more than $65,000 a year in their life. I kept on saying it over and over again. When the median household income was less than 70, I kept on saying it over and over again. Now it's 74. Median household income right now is 74,000. That's half of households in America that earn less than $74,000 a year. Right? And Mr. Shakti, said they must not own a delusional calculator. Of course not. As a matter of fact, who Princella brought it up one time, right? And the way she framed it is essentially like, excuse me, when you type in the delusional calculator, see the men trying to say that, we're delusional, but what it really is that they're not on our level. So many of them are not on our level. Oh boy, the framing, boy, instead of Princella just acknowledging, yeah, we do be something crazy. No, the real issue is this is showing that y'all not, she's trying to. Oh, she really do sound like the brothers out of the Nation of Islam. But what this is showing is how they're not up to par. Oh boy, they don't on the level. Okay, right. But yeah, the pivot is real. Chrissy, we see the pivot. Shout out to you. If this is the direction you're going in now, all right, cool. Okay. But you don't get to play victim number one. Number one. And number two, boy, that's trying to sprinkle sugar on ish, and your ego won't let you admit. Look, you didn't either came up on some new information. Maybe it's age or maturity, or maybe you and the white dude are becoming more and more attached or more successful, or maybe you ran into something with your brother and you saw something that made you change your mind. Something. And instead of owning that, you think you could just pivot, and what? Nobody sees that. Or you could just once again sprinkle the sugar on ish and just change the whole fragrance of it, right? Is that what you think? And let me read this one now. And Dr. Thunder says, and thank you for the super chat, Doc. And Dr. Thunder says, did you see my multiculturalism is the cause video? If multiculturalism is the cause, then passport is the only solution based on social dominance. I did watch it, and I actually want to formulate a reply to that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did watch it. Right. And I actually appreciate you, Doc, for being the one to really push that. Right. Multiculturalism plus a deregulated dating market equals divestment. Yes. Right. And I appreciate that because that's what it is. But once again, we're speaking about these things in a macro sense. Right. We're speaking about this as a global phenomenon, as a Western phenomenon, as an American phenomenon. Right. And yes, your literal personal relationships with an individual black woman, whether it's your girlfriend, your wife, your baby mom, whatever, may not be that contentious. It may not be like what's being represented on social media and on the internet. Absolutely. Or what's being represented out there in the real world. You and your individual situation may not be that. But this is actually what's going on in the real world. And what social media does is put a light on much of the discussion that happens in reality. Now, does it exacerbate it or exaggerate it sometimes? Absolutely. Are there people doing extra on the internet and saying extra on the internet? Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? But we have to be honest about the environment. And I think what Dr. Thunder presented here, yeah. And it was always going to be that. As the world, and this is why I said, brothers, y'all got to get out y'all ego, and many of us are not. Look, let me read that comment right there. Where is it? And Charles Irby, I'm in the 68K to 73K range as a journeyman plumber. I don't have an issue being average. And that, look, many of us are not even in our ego, right? We're not in our ego. And for the ones of us that are, look, as the world is currently constituted, as Dr. Thunder said, multiculturalism plus deregulated dating market equal divestment. And I even tried to, I was doing black women a solid when I was like, it's not just black women, they're just the loudest about it. And brothers were annoyed with me for doing that. I was doing black women a solid. Look, I get it. It's not just black women, they're just the loudest about it, right? But I kept on saying to the ladies, which Chrissy, what you're engaging in is dangerous. Yanni, what you're engaging in is dangerous. Paris, what you're engaging in is dangerous. Now everybody knew what Cynthia G and Lexus Exodus was on was dangerous. That like now we're splitting hairs, right? Distinction without a difference, but Cynthia G and Lexus Exodus is all the way in and divested Zella. We're all the way in forget Auschwitz. We are literally watching the mass graves when you listen to them. Right? We are watching the mass graves, and the short mustache man is talking about he need to take better care of his dog as those bodies are dropping. When you listen to Chrissy or anyone not Chrissy, but Cynthia G and what's her name? Yeah, that's what you're doing with that. That's mass graves, right? And BGS's divestment is almost impossible for black women. Yeah, and I think that's why they're so loud about it. Also, And y'all give me a second. Yeah, no, no, yes, yeah. Divestment is almost impossible for black women. But I think that that's why they're so loud. Because it seems not fair. It's not fair, BGS. If compassion's in here, get ready to laugh. White women are always told to settle. Why are we always told to settle? Black women are always told to settle. Why do we have to settle? Right? And mentioning Chrissy, that was like the theme of her channel. Right? Black women sweat, and I kept on saying, I'm like, wait, you don't hear? And like BGS kept on saying it. Look, that's what these white feminists are getting at white women for. No, we done rejiggered this whole thing. You would have to eat this. That's what Anne Marie Slaughter was on. Black women, you're not. First of all, you're not actually listening to what's going on. You're not watching what's going on. That's why you feel personally attacked. We're always told to settle. Other women aren't told to settle, right? Then we flip to Anne Marie Slaughter. She's saying something different. You don't even have all the information, and you saying that these other women aren't told to settle. Black women are always told to settle. Everybody's trying to humble black women, right? In other words, what Anne Marie Slaughter is saying, what a bunch of other white women are saying, is you can't have equality and be special at the same time. Once again, you can't be equal and special at the same time. How that's supposed to work? Huh? That's what they're saying. You can't say, look, I want to have the ability to climb all the way up to the C-suite. I want to have the ability to do that. Whether I do it or not, I want to have the ability to do that. And I want to have the ability to outcompete men. Cool. While at the same time, men gotta earn more than me. What? I still reserve the right to practice hypergamy. How in the hell? Right? I still reserve the right to practice hypergamy. How is this supposed to work? And BGS says divestment is just admixture that's common process in human history. Right? Give me one. So let me highlight that back for Dr. Thunder. But yeah, no, I think that's not what we're talking about, BGS. No, there's definitely admixture as people live in the same area and they shop at the same places and they go to the same schools and maybe even attend the same churches. Right? That definitely is a thing. But to advocate for just going in one direction, right? With this militant tone, this anger, this sense of urgency to go in, everybody's going in one direction, right? Or the trend is in, for the most part, in one direction. You know, admixture is like everybody's doing whatever, right? But if there is like if there's a what did Reagan say, a shining city on a hill called whiteness, right? Like that's the thing. It's not, oh, this person's into that person and that person's into this person and this person's into that person. Yeah, that's going on a little bit, but it really is the shiny, the shining city on a hill. Yeah, that's definitely whiteness. The white peen reigns supreme, right? Exactly. Improve the race. Exactly. Mejor La Raza for real. Shout out to all my Latinos. Right. And it's good that we're actually here with this. Like I said, I appreciate the Nuance. For those of you who checked out the link in the description, who would have ever thought we would hear Chrissy? What would you call this? Because it's not. Is she really moonwalking? Because it's as if she's trying to like stand where she still is, but also bring in this other stuff. That's why I said like you're sprinkling sugar on ish. Because you still not really saying like, yo, this I have some new information or a new perspective or a new outlook, and so I'm gonna move in this direction. Or I want to focus on this a little bit more because maybe I didn't factor in these things before. There is still a way of like the humble apology, but that's not what it is. It's like she's trying to hard pivot in a different direction, acting like we don't see it. Right? And like we see it. That pivot is a mug. Yeah, Chrissy, we over here in the Black Manosphere was speaking macro. Were you? Huh. As I said, this it's interesting to hear when Chrissy, especially when she was heavy on the corrective promotion thing, right? As if you could have corrective promotion in a vacuum for Black women, right? That was the thing for me. Can you have corrective promotion for Black women in a vacuum. Oh, and BGS is America is going through a delayed assimilation process. You already know the question, BGS. What's causing it to be delayed? Right? Before I even and okay, so let's do this. Let's first shout out Kevin C. Thank you for the super stickers. Thank you for the super sticker. And then I gotta read Leon's comment real quick because this is good. And Leon says, "I am next to a military. I'm next to military bases, so there's a lot of light skinned babies and children over here. When they do, so I remember hearing this. Oh man, how long ago? And I never tried to check to see how true it is, but like a good chunk, a disproportionate amount of from my understanding, like if ADOS, we're talking about ADOS, um, interracial coupling between black women and white men is because of the military. I don't know how true that is. I remember hearing that like a decade ago, maybe even longer than that. Right. So when we're speaking about white men with black women who are not um excuse me, immigrants or children of immigrants. So ADOS black women with white men, a good chunk of it, maybe disproportionate, is. But I don't even know how you could come up on that data. I don't know how true that is. Right. So, what you think about this one, BGS? What if divestment was a psyop to help accelerate the process? Spademan asked. That's a BGS question. Anubis says, "Man, if I had came to Colombia when I was in my 20s, half the country would have my DNA. Hysterical." Anubis think he a Mongol, right? That's funny. Right? That's hysterical. And BGS says the military started this in the 40s, and that's you know, like I said, this is where we are in 2023 with people tired. People are tired. BGS, younger Xers, millennials, Gen Z, the oldest of Gen Z barely are adults and they're retired. People are tired. I think COVID put its foot in people's ass, this inflation, and people like, oh my God. And I think people are getting their mind right. It might be too soon to call it, but yeah. I even think I heard Yanni say, if I wasn't doing this internet thing, instead of being under men like this and like that, I'd rather do a 9 to 5 and that. And I was like, whoa, 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 right? Paris ain't putting out content like she used to, huh? Or at least maybe she's doing Patreon. I'm not sure. Cynthia G is gone, right? That's huh. Yeah, let's see what 2024 and 2025 look like because the early 20s, the early 2020s, the late 20 teens, people were sounding absolutely insane. Y'all remember when Mr. Z came into the Black Manosphere? I was like, where the hell did we get all this money from? Y'all can ask the Raj report. I had to check a couple of brothers when they were still talking about that Jordans thing. We spent our money on Jordans and big rims. Yeah, a couple of your nephews. Stop it. Exactly. Terrell said reasonable. Question mark for 5 minutes? Yeah, for 5 minutes. Yes, Joe, for 5 minutes. Chrissy didn't sound absolutely insane. Chrissy didn't sound like a goddamn Bond villain for about 5 minutes. Right? She didn't sound like one of those super rich a-holes off of a 007 movie for about 5 minutes. Right? Baby steps, Trail, baby steps. Right? It's hard. Chrissy hasn't sounded like a normal person that understand that she's talking about other normal people for like 8 years. And definitely for the past half a decade, for the past 5 years, is baby steps, right? Training wheels. We got to give her some time to start feeling out what it sounds like to sound like a normal person that's talking about other normal people who, yes, still want to have nice things in life and don't want to work themselves to early graves. But she has to. We were always going to end up here, whether people were running headlong into the wall in our face or whether they had an epiphany or not. We were always going to get here where people had to contend with the numbers, and I kept saying it. We were always going to end up here where, oh, so that's how you think. All right, wait until your subscribers get old enough to realize, okay, I done had the baller dudes. They done had fun with me. Now I'm running into the wall of there's not a million of them. There's not a zillion of them. Oops. Right? What I kept on saying, there's only 8.8, so like 9% of asset millionaires in America. Not liquid millionaires, asset millionaires. So 8.8, so let's round it up to 9. Even if you wanted to say 9.5%. Even if you want to be super generous, say 9.5%. Asset millionaires. That's not you check their bank account, they got $1 million in it. That's not the same. So Chrissy was always going to run into that wall, right? And Yanni was always going to run into that wall. And Paris Milan was always going to run into that wall with their subscribers. They could sell the lifestyle, the luxury lifestyle all they want, black, this hypergamy lifestyle all they want. They were always going to run into just about 10% of men earn $100,000+ a year, and just about 9% of people, right, are asset millionaires. They were always going to run into that wall. And now that Chrissy done ran into that wall, now what? Thanks for the Cash App, Russo G, and thank you for the Cash App. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Right? And BGS says Chrissy has been Chrissy has been lying for 10 years. Yeah. And she was always gonna run into this wall. Absolutely, BGS. Absolutely. Oh yeah. Well, we've said this, right? And BGS says Latinas are the hidden Z factor. That's funny. Right? That's all it was. She was always gonna run into this wall. It was always gonna happen. That I sit. I done said these numbers so many times. Like 26% of poor Americans are married, 39% of middle class, 56% of poor Americans. When homes were going on average for 480, I was like, homes are going on average for 480. Then when they dropped down to like 430, I'm like, homes are going for 430. Look, I was going everywhere, right? Median household income is 60 when it was 67,000, then it was 69,000, now it's 74,000. Everywhere I went. So to watch women that I knew, after a while I was like, it sounds like Chrissy be listening to me. And I never got confirmation until she finally said something when I was like, oh, that's Z. She talking about me. Oh yeah, she definitely talking about me. Right? So if you were listening to me from the jump, why did you continue to talk that crap? You could have been pivoted.
Obstruction detected.
Right? Yes, Car, I hear you. Right? If you were listening to me for that long, you should have been pivoted long time ago. Because you were dead ass wrong for a long time. Right? Yanni, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if she listened or not. Paris, I don't think so. Right? for someone, look, this is, we have a responsibility as content creators. We have a responsibility. You never know who's listening. You never know who's listening. And these intimate relationships, this is real life. You're talking about boys and girls that are going to become men and women and that are going to have sex and have children and raise children. And if you F up their mindset, if you F up their worldview, do you understand what you're doing? Y'all were way too reckless with how y'all was speaking, Chrissy. I know you trying to make it seem like you weren't that extreme. No, no, baby girl, you were way too extreme, right? Y'all are messing up young people's mind, these young girls' mindset. Chrissy, you gotta just be honest. Your answer to them for like everything was get the baller dude or get a white dude, right? You gotta be honest about that. You think because you weren't as extreme, you weren't as extreme as Alexis Exodus and a Cynthia G that you weren't extreme. That's because y'all bar is in hell. The bar is in hell. That's all. You're comparing yourself to other more insane people. What? And that's, I'm gonna read that comment in a minute, Doc. But that's why when Dr. Thunder forwarded his thesis, I was like, oh yeah, multiculturalism plus deregulated market equals divestment. It made sense because as the world is currently constituted, we understand where white men rank. We understand, and we know what that meant. And I'm trying to think how many black men did I hear just openly say I'm in the black manosphere. How many black men did I hear openly say I'm gonna just go get me a white girl? I'm trying to like just like that, right? Like just like that, because you done heard so many black women just like that. I'm gonna just go get me a white boy. Wait, what? What does that even mean? Right? Or like homegirl said on Daily Wrap Up Crew, I could get me a white man, I could get me a Latino man, I could get me an Asian man. I'm like, what superstore are you going to where you just picking Negroes up and white dudes up and Latino dudes and Asian dudes up off of a shelf? How much for this one? What? Will they smash? Yeah. Will they have sex with you? Absolutely. Will you maybe get a oops baby out the deal? Possibly. But marriage, you just picking them up off of the shelf and be like, I want this one. Make him propose to me. Where? Right? It's crazy talk. Right? And Dr. Thunder says, let me read this real quick. It's an artifact of using black slaves as practice. Let me see. Did I miss? Okay, okay, good. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm living dangerously. BGS. I ain't even gonna let y'all know. Right? And Dr. Thunder says it's an artifact of using black slaves as practice. It was never about improving a race. It was more about access to white men to any woman he desires. And this and and ah, and this not usually for the purpose of marriage or even procreation. When I say multiculturalism, I'm including social dominance as it is combined with racial hypergamy in America in a particular but in a West generally speaking, in particular in West generally speaking, but not limited to that. Yeah. Well, okay, so I'm more and more like annoyed by this person, but they were on Joe Rogan's channel. Give me a second, y'all. Oh, give me a second, y'all. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Give Zium 1 minute. Well, a couple of minutes. So yeah, talking about living life recklessly. Y'all give Mrs. Z 1 minute. Talk amongst yourselves. Y'all give me a second. KMS, give me a couple minutes before I acknowledge that. There's a cost to living life reckless. Give me a second, y'all. Or better yet, a couple minutes. And there's a cost for all of you that fell asleep. Oops. And there is a cost to live a life reckless. Okay, we're back. We're back. Okay. My apologies, y'all. My apologies. So unprofessional. So unprofessional. Mr. Shook to you says black men are hanging on the idea of marriage to black women because historically it got us through tougher times. Women don't want it anymore. Loyalty ends with Gen X. Woo! Yeah. So, I think BGS might be right on this. They want partnership. I don't think they want to play the role of wife, right? I don't think they want to play the role of wife, but the thing is that men don't want partnership because we know women are full of crap. And if we show them what partnership really look like, they ain't gonna want it. Because when men hear partner, let me speak for myself. When Z hears partner, I hear business. And I know you ain't gonna be a good business partner. I just know it. I know you're not gonna come in doing your part in a vacuum, and I do my part in a vacuum, and we come together and make things work. I know you're not. See, if you're a wife, then maybe you get some leniency. If you're a partner, you get none. You get cut off, and you're not doing your part. I'm out. School gone. Right. So yeah, I think there's the this resetting of the term wife, or better yet, this wife, but you really mean partner, or they actually just say partner. That is one thing that BGS presented that really like helped me to think about these things different, is how um a wife is a role that you play, excuse me, and the difference between wife and partner, and how, because so I always used feeling and thinking differently. I never even as a kid, right? No one had to tell me. It's not an uncle or my dad or anyone that got me to start to not say think and feel interchangeably. Right? That was just a no-brainer to me. There's a difference, right? But when it came to wife and partner, I'm not saying I was using them interchangeably, but it's definitely when I being in the Black manosphere and seeing that we do use it differently, that's when it really hit me like, oh yeah, that's what they talk about partner. They ain't talking about no wife, right? But then once again, like if you show women what partner look like, that's when they want to start copping please. No, you said partner. You get partner treatment, right? There's pros and cons in all of this. So you don't like the cons of wife, so you think you want to do partner, and then when we show you what partner look like, you're like, ooh, I don't want that neither. All right then. You see, FD didn't have nothing to say the first time he was on my channel, and what did I say? I said he was like, no, women want it was an agency. That is not the word he used. Was it autonomy? He said they want autonomy and security, something like that. I might be getting those words wrong, but the message was something like that, like autonomy and security. I was like, and Minnow over here, and he said, yeah, because you can only have one house. Exactly. Get the entire hell out of here, man. There's trade-offs on all of this. I want to do what I want to do, but I want you to provide me with the safety net. Absolutely not. Right? I want to do what I want to do, but I need you to put the guardrails up for me. Absolutely not. Nope. Not I, says the spy. Right? BGS said freedom and security don't mix. And shout out to y'all for still being here. Look, that wasn't even a pause. That was a whole lunch break. Right? And KMS with the big old 80. And KMS, thank you for the super chat. And thank you for the super chat once again, Mr. Shook to you. And thank you for making me bring that up. Because, yeah, right? They're the ones who don't want marriage. And there's nothing wrong with that. But guess what? The men that want marriage to a wife, not a partner, because we know y'all don't mean it and y'all going to be playing in our faces. right? Maybe we should bring that. Like, you don't get to put partner and wife on an on and off switch where you want to be a partner today, but then tomorrow you want to play wife, and then the next day you want to play partner again. Nope. Right? Absolutely not. No, ma'am. Right? And KMS says, train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. Appreciate you and what you do. Thank you for your black woman social work. Shout out to Edward Anderson. You are a better man than me. Look, man, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the faint of heart. But we might be making inroads, right? We might be persuading one or two women here and there to get their minds right and not to be complete and total a-holes and not to sound absolutely Nazi-ish about black men. You know, their brothers and their cousins, them, and their fathers and their uncles and their nephews and their sons. That part, right? And that's why I said, look, that's why I said it. And thank you, Mr. Z, pat myself on the back for owning it. That's why I'm all about SBE. I don't know what the hell y'all on, right? I don't know how anybody can have a black mother, black aunts, black sister, black girlfriends, or black ex-wife or wife or whatever, and say they not SBE. I don't know what the hell y'all on, because I'm SBE all day. Shame, blame, and explain. You absolutely, you damn right, Mr. Z engages in it. Right? The hell? What is East Asia but a bunch of people that's easy to shame? Especially Japan, right? The hell? Shame, blame, and explain? Absolutely. You're supposed to be shame, blaming, and explaining. The hell? First of all, I grew up in the house. Shout out to the Roger Report. His mom wasn't the only one lecturing. I grew up in the house full of lectures before spankings. Before whoopings, oh yeah, the lecture, oh boy. And then after, oh God, right? So the explaining part, it just comes second nature to Z. The blaming part, well, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Right? If you're wrong, you're wrong. And then the shaming part, what the hell? Wait, you don't think we should shame women? Or are you saying what's the point of shaming them? To get them to act right. Get your mind right. Look at D. I ain't gonna play top trumps with torture, okay? I ain't gonna play top trumps with abuse. And D says, spankings, I dealt with switches. Look at you. Now we sounding like our mothers. All you did was spank him. Look, I put mine in a coma. That's a real discipline. Right? Oh, wait, yours was only in a coma for a day? Man, mine was in a coma for a week. Right? Chakra, I can maybe do that Monday. Let's shoot for Monday. And Chakra says, open that panel, Z. Look, you think I was living life reckless now. Look, I got things to do. Like, if y'all only knew. Some of y'all understand what Mr. Z be saying when I say don't put it in the chat. But yeah, look, I'm about to end this in a minute. Right? I got last minute things to do. Yeah, Chakra, I'm gonna try to shoot for Monday for that open panel. Right? And KMS, thank you for the super chat. And Afro National, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you. Right? Donations. Look, Dr. Umar killed me with that donations thing. Jesus Christ. Right? Donations. So on that note, everyone, coming to a close. Look, I see your pivot, Chrissy. The first 5 or so minutes, shout out to Trail, right? About about a good 5 minutes, right? A good 5 minutes. She said things that we can sympathize with. That we understand. Yeah, the struggle and capitalism, and even some of the brothers on the right. Okay, we get it. Ain't nobody trying to work themselves to death, and COVID, and the struggle, and y'all realizing y'all hit that wall of boss girl feminism, and it punched you back, right? So you're like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna change my mind. I'm gonna pivot. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, ladies. But no, Chrissy, you don't get to sprinkle sugar on ish and pivot and then act like you ain't pivot. You're pivoting. You are pivoting, young lady. I'm saying that to Chrissy. I don't even know if Chrissy's older than me. I think we're around the same age. Chrissy might be even be my age or maybe a couple years younger. Right? So Chrissy, own it. You're pivoting. Once again, thank you for the super sticker. Afro National and Spain Man, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. And if you're pivoting, Chrissy, that's okay. We are human beings. And we're black. You got hit with all the indoctrination, etc., etc. Cool. If you pivoting, if you, like I said, you came about some new information, a new way of thinking, somebody hit you with some new stuff, or you watch something new, family member, something happened in your life, right? That's cool if you pivot. That shows a level of maturity and you're evolving. But what you don't get to do is pretend like what you said yesterday you didn't say. Now you can acknowledge I said that yesterday. I came up on something new, and I changed my outlook, so I'm changing my direction. But you don't get to sprinkle sugar on ish and act like the ish don't stink. Like you didn't just say what you said yesterday, right? Dre is so fashionably late. Look, Dre, I'm about to end out, right? And Mr. Shook to you says, Chakra, Z has some dedicated hate watchers. They will listen to report back, but will never hit the like button. Hit the like button. To all you divestors and swirlers listening in, you too can press the like button. And thank y'all for listening in. It's just something to think about. I don't know what y'all thought. Look, I occasionally play the lottery. I want to win the lottery one day. I occasionally play the lottery. What you think, Mr. Z only wants one Z? Right? I want an R33 GTO in my life. And a hanger to put all my expensive well, the cars I like aren't necessarily expensive. They're just rare. And a couple of them are trending towards expensive, but not really. Mr. Z's not into really like $300,000, $400,000 cars. That's not my thing. I don't care about phantoms and rates and all this other stuff. Raris. There's a couple of Raris. Let's not be, let's not lie. But yeah, you think I don't want to win the lottery? I want to win the lottery. But the way y'all be sounding about this interracial relationships and the lifestyle, not even just the relationship, the lifestyle that's supposed to come from that, and how y'all beat up on black men because we quote unquote cannot provide this lifestyle. No, that was lottery dreams. That's lottery dreams. Right? And you're beating up on black men because you ain't win the lottery with the white dude yet. Get out of here. Right? Just saying. Mr. Shik to you said N.M. Hawkins. N.M. Hawkins actually admits that she listens, right? We don't even know we don't even know who N.M. Hawkins might be. It could, you never know, it could be, Yanni or Kim Foster. You're right, it could be one of them. We don't know. Right? And Mr. Shik to you says N.M. Hawkins, Yanni, K Foster. Yanni might listen, you never know. We know Chrissy listens, right? Especially when I add her. Like now we know. And that's why I address her the way I do. I'm not gonna Chrissy, I'm gonna poke fun. It is gonna happen. Right, I'm a jab. I'm a poke fun. Am I going to insult your intelligence? No, even though you do that to me. Right? But you better believe I'm going to poke some fun. Right? But, but I'm going to speak to you like you're a black woman. You got to be honest. You were sounding. Look, you don't think you were extreme because you're comparing yourself to like Lexus Exodus and divested zealot. That's why you don't think you're extreme. You're comparing yourself to what's the divested conservative or whatever. That's why you don't think you sounded extreme, right? It's like the Tea Party when the Trumpers came in, right? You don't think you sound extreme because you're comparing yourself to Cynthia G talking about aborting black male sons. That's why. So if this is what nuance looks like, I guess once again, this is not for me. This is not. She's not creating this content for black men, not straight black men anyway. So okay, cool. It's not for me, and I guess this is what nuance. This is as far as you go, and this is what nuance looks like. Okay, I look forward, not so much, but I look forward to see where you go from here, and and maybe this might have just been a one-off. We don't know. She could go back to these Negroes ain't ish and get you a white man very next video. We don't know, right? Just saying. And Chakra says, "Yeah, a tea party with Trumpers. Tell us more about that comparison." That will have to wait for the next video. Spain man, don't even do it to yourself. If you want to keep your sanity, if you think Cynthia G is bad, if you think, bro, Lexus Exodus is like, bro, when I say forget Auschwitz, this is not a concentration camp. When you listen to Lexus Exodus, you are officially watching the mass graves. You are watching the bodies get pushed into the mass grave site. Like she's that bad. Like it's next level, like Nazi talk, right? It's crazy. It's yeah. And believe it or not, there's a level past her. Yeah, there's a level past her where you are officially in hell, right? There's these I'm talking about the super small channels with like 100 people, 100 subscribers or whatever. They're even more extreme than her. They're like, bruh. Okay, one time I played the intro for one of their videos and BGS was like, I can't do it. And I was like, yeah, right. Like the Matrix lady or the Matrix Reloaded lady is one of them. There's a couple of them, and you'd be like, God damn, we are officially forget a concentration camp or even a death camp. Forget the mass graves. We are in hell, right? So yeah, it gets worse. It gets worse. But on that note, everyone, once again, let me shout out the last few super chats and super stickers because I didn't leave them up that long. Mr. Shook to you, thank you. KMS, thank you. Afro National, thank you. And Spain Man, thank you. And Russo Gian for the Cash App, thank you. And on that note, everyone, Mr. Z has last minute things to do. Trust and no mas, no more. KW Don says Miss Archduchess, man. I'm telling. Look, when I say. I usually try to, yeah, the Auschwitz and Dachau, yeah, that's bad. That's bad, and that's that. To tell you the truth, most of y'all can't even take that, and I get it, right? I don't suggest y'all do what Mr. Z does, but there's levels worse than Auschwitz and Dachau. There's the mass graves level, and then there is officially we are in hell. We are in the afterlife, right? In the dark side of the afterlife, and yeah, some of those ladies, you listen to them talk, and you like, bruh, y'all never even hear me say this. Y'all are like this is hateful, like official hateful, all capitals, exclamation points at the end. I can't do it, right? I can't. I don't know. You would have to harm a loved one for me to even consider going that place with how I speak, right? So yeah. Better you said. So racism on ultra instinct, basically. Put it this way, these people are so insane with their rhetoric, I think they would make KKK members blush, right? I think they would make KKK members blush. That's how bad it is. Irvin reads it. Dante's Inferno level. Pretty much, right? Pretty much. Look, y'all gonna have me here all day. Okay, look, we will pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great, great, great rest of y'all day. Go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Um, I will. The goal is to do a panel on Monday, sometime around 3-ish in the afternoon, East Coast time. Right. So that's the goal. That's the goal. All right, everyone. So that's the goal. I'll probably still stream tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, but the goal is for open panel Monday afternoon. If you see me don't come in Monday afternoon for a panel, I mean I'm dead ass tired, which is possible. So but yeah. So let's pause right there, and y'all have a great, great, great rest of y'all day. And Mr. Z out. All right, everyone. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day.